Hi everybody, Al Weeks for Stalking the Wild Autoharp. This is going to be another melody playing video for you. This is going to be the third or the fourth one. It just depends on the order that I release them in. And I'm making it in two parts today. One part is here, and then we're going to go over and look at my keyboard. Then we'll come back here and sum it up. When you are playing melody, especially if you're playing a tune that is in the major key, you're primarily using 3 buttons. I call that home row. It's just like home row typing. You kind of park your fingers above those 3, and it gives you, those 3 will give you all the notes that you need for the do, re, mi scale. And it's just a matter of learning a finger pattern and learning how to move your fingers around over top of the strings while you're doing those finger patterns. The finger patterns change from song to song, but it's still those 3 main chords, and it's still the 7-note do, re, mi scale. So how does that work? How do we put it together? When I play a chord pattern, say for Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, I'm using a pattern that my muscle memory tells me to do to get the sounds of the melody notes I need. But I'm also doing something with this hand, which is I'm dragging up to play the notes in the chord, and I'm stopping when I get to the melody note I want. So, am I thinking about the name of the melody note or the name of the button? No, I'm just thinking of the song, either the tune or the words to the song. And I'm letting my hand and its connection to my ear stop me when I get to the note. So it's about sliding up to the melody note and then stopping. Now you can also do it, I'm doing it with my thumb, but you can also do it with your finger, and you can scoop down. Now if you're playing an Oscar Schmidt, your melody chords are going to be over here somewhere. But unless it's been rearranged to Brian Bauer's layout, my major chords are in the middle. That's a different video. However, that's what I'm doing to do this. And as you progress in your technical skills in playing melody, your scoops or swipes are going to get shorter to the place where you can get down to single notes when you want them. So your beginning experience will be, or even before that, you'll overshoot your note. So it's about learning to hear where you're going and what is going on the top of the chord. You stop when you put the melody note on the top of the chord stack, and you stop when you get there, so that the melody note is on top of the choir. It's a soprano note. It's singing up on top of the register. Now let's go over to the keyboard and I'll show you there exactly what's happening to the strings. So this is my little keyboard that I use here at the shop, and it's a dinky little thing, but it's big enough to teach us what we need to learn here. We're going to imagine that each key on the keyboard is an Autoharp string, and they are equally spaced. Whether they're black or white, they're equally, and they're all a 1/4 inch apart, which is how they are on your Autoharp. So chords are made up of 3 notes. Sevenths have 4 notes, but right now we're just going to deal with the 3 major chords that are in home row, like C, F, and G, 3 fingers consecutive on the Autoharp buttons. And with those 3, you can play all the notes in the do, re, mi scale in the key of C. For example, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now, when I do that, I'm naming the notes, not the chords. When I play chords, I play a stack of 3. This is a C chord, C, E, G, and it's named after the bottom note, C major. Now, I don't have to keep C on the bottom. I can put C on the top by taking it off here and putting it up here, like this. So now it's E, G, C. Furthermore, I can do it again. I can take the E off the bottom and I can put it on the top. So now I've got G, C, E. The name of this process is called inversion, because you're taking something and you're inverting it, and you're inverting it again. And if we do it again, we get to the same inversion that we had down here with the C on the bottom. It's just up an octave. But here's the thing. The ear, when you're listening to an Autoharp, hears the note that's on top. So while I play a C chord, if I'm putting the G on top, my ear is going to hear a G melody note, because the G being on top is in the soprano voice. So if we want to play a do, re, mi scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, we can do that. Let's do it up here, though. We're going to go. And we're going to do this note first. Now, for reasons that I am going to explain later, we're going to start with our C chord, but we're going to put the C on top here, because we're going to play the do, re, mi melody. And we're going to play C chord, E, G, C. Now the next note is D, do, re. So for the D, we're going to use the G chord, like that, with the D on the top. The next note is this one, do, re, mi. So for that, we're going to use the C chord again, but we're going to use this inversion so that we get the E note in the soprano on the top. The next note is F, and that's not in the G chord or the C chord, it's in the F chord, like that. So let's go back and play what we have so far. Next note is this one. Now here we have a choice. We can play the C chord like that, or we can play the G chord. You want to hear the difference? Let's play both of them. That's the C chord. Let's hear it the other way now. They both work. Let's go on. The next note is this one. That's only in the F chord. And then to get the B, we have to have the G chord again. And then to get the C, we sort of have a choice because we could use the F chord, but it would give us this unfinished feeling. Let's hear that in its entirety. We're going to use the F chord at the top. Ready? Here we go. You get the melody note, but you get that unfinished hanging feeling like it wants to go amen, because that man part is on the C chord. That's the home plate chord, and it gives you that feeling of finality, like you've put a period on the end of the sentence instead of a comma. The F chord gives you the feeling of a comma on the end. Want to hear it again? Okay, here we go. Whoops. But the melody note is coming off the top. So that's what is going on under them thar buttons when you're playing a melody. You might be playing a C chord, but you're doing it to get a G note out of that C chord. So it's all about learning the button patterns for those three main chords and learning to hear your melody note coming out of them and stopping when you get to it and bringing it out. I now want to show you about what I'm doing called targeting. That keyboard over there is not what we call touch sensitive. What that means is if I push harder on a key or lighter on a key, it all just comes out the same volume. There's no control for getting louder, so I can't emphasize the top note by playing it harder than the harmony notes below. But on the Autoharp you can. And this is where I'm going with this. And this also gets into helping you to target that melody note and emphasize it, because when I am playing in any of my melody strumming patterns, and I have made a video about all the different melody playing techniques, but whenever I'm playing melody with one of those techniques, I have a place where the melody is happening in my hand. For example, it might be so this is called pinch pluck. And when I'm pinching, my thumb, excuse me, not my thumb, my middle finger up here is my melody playing note. So what I'm doing there is I'm thinking that this one is the melody, so I'm highlighting it in my mind. Now, I can do this two ways. I can play this louder, but I think what I tend to do is play these softer, because softer sounds prettier. So it's like I have a spotlight in my consciousness, a focal point, or a crosshairs on this finger. And you might notice that this one is coming out more than the other two. Which spotlights it a little bit more. Now this is a more further on intermediate advanced technique. First, you just got to get the notes and be able to get that melody to come out and stop going up or coming down, or get that melody note on the top. The targeting is good for that too. Now sometimes I showed you walking, and that's where two fingers trade off on the melody. So when I'm doing that, I'm not really thinking that the target is moving back and forth between the fingers. What I'm doing is I'm thinking it's almost like there's a little oval area. Instead of a little circle for my target, I have a little oblong area. That's my spotlight. And everything that happens in that area is louder, and everything that happens down here is softer in volume. So that's some more detail about what's going on when I'm playing melody. If I happen to be playing melody with my thumb, my spotlight's here. So that's my emphasis, and that's actually a little easier to emphasize because it's my thumb, and our thumbs are stronger. So I might do this. Target, target, target. Softer focus here. Louder here, softer here. So that the thumb jumps out. So all of these different things are things that you're going to take and you're going to just practice playing melodies. I don't care if you're pinching them, if you're plucking them, if you're doing this. If gradually you're going to practice playing tunes, more tunes, more tunes, more tunes. Where do you get tunes? Think of tunes that you've always known since you were a kid. What did you think of when you were a kid? Tunes that you learned in school, maybe. Start there, because they're simple tunes. Then think about pretty folk tunes that you have. Maybe you see them in books. Maybe you know how they go. And learn those. I'm Hal Weeks. Thanks for watching. If you want to be a patron and give something back, help me keep going, help inspire me, you can go over to patreon.com/Hal Weeks and you can chip in a few bucks a month, and that will greatly, heartily support my desire to keep going and keep giving you more and more melody Autoharp teachings. And so thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Stalking the Wild Autoharp. Bye-bye.